Am I the asshole for discussing my role in my sister's wedding? New update. Apparently my sister talked to my mom a week ago or so and said they didn't want me in the wedding at all. I don't know how true this is and I'm going to ask her, but that's what my mom told me. And she's furious my sister manipulated and used my disability against me. Update. Last night I decided for my own safety to agree with her that my sister manipulated me. I tried to defend her the best I could and I will still stand firm, but I cannot handle taking the heat for this. Both of my parents grilled me. Told me I never shut up about how I don't want to be around people and stuff. Even when I explained myself they still told me that my meltdown getting my first piercing was probably what made my brother-in-law hesitant with me. My brother-in-law has been nothing but understanding, cool, and even deals with his own similar issues. I hope my sister will understand and I hope I won't be the asshole if I did this. 19M recently found out my older sister is getting married. I love her fiancé and I think they're awesome together. Our mother has really been pushing for me to be in the wedding and told me privately to agree when I'm asked to be a groomsman. I made a joke about not wanting to be in the wedding a month ago and she told me it hurt my sister's feelings and that I should be over the top about how I can't wait to be in it. A few days ago my sister reached out through text and asked if we could talk privately. She then asked me if I really wanted to be in the wedding and I said of course, but if they have other people they would rather have in it I understand. We talked and she brought up how if I said yes I would need to pay for my own things, they aren't able to. Otherwise they would. And how I would go on a groomsman trip with people I don't know and stuff. Alcohol and loud noises. Partying. I was recently diagnosed with autism and so she mentioned how I have meltdowns or get overwhelmed and she doesn't want me to worry or anyone else to worry. We called and talked about it some more and she said that I should take a day to think and whatever I decide is okay with them. They also asked me before buying a shirt if I had any sensory issues with the shirt type, which was really thoughtful. So they have been very supportive of my journey with being diagnosed. I decided not to for various reasons. I'm underage, not 21. I have college to pay for, and I don't want to have to be a burden on the trip. She told me it's okay and that we need to tell my mom. She agreed to take the backlash that my mom would unleash and so I waited for her to call and break the news. She did, and I was not in the room at the time but I came in to find my mom screaming into the phone and crying. Calling me a liar and that I'm a horrible child for betraying her. We talked it out on the phone and my sister told my parents she doesn't care what they do or if they come or not. It's their choice what they do for their wedding. My mom then proceeds to blame my sister's husband and said he's manipulative and hates me and saw me having a meltdown and doesn't want me at the wedding. Apparently she thinks my sister is manipulating me because she really doesn't want me involved at all even though they both offered to give me another role in the wedding and accommodate me. She also told me I was a terrible child and betrayed her because I talked to my sister privately about the matter and didn't immediately go to her when she texted me. Am I the asshole for this? Not the asshole. Your mother is throwing a weepy temper tantrum because her kids had a polite and thoughtful conversation? Is your mother regressing to her toddler years or something? I thought you and your sister handled it perfectly. It's clear that you have a loving, sensible relationship with lots of mutual respect. Your mother is a weirdo. Not the asshole. It seems like your sister, future Bill, and you are all on the same page. That's all that matters, and your mom should respect your decision. Your reasons for not being a groomsman are valid and demonstrate your maturity. Stand firm with your decision, and have your sister back you up and take some of the wrath. The only asshole here is your mother. Continue communicating straight with your sister. Seems like mom just has her own ideas and wants for sister's wedding. Not the asshole. Frankly, I think you and your sister have a wonderful relationship. She really wanted to make sure that you were comfortable with whatever choice was made. Your sister and her fiancé sound like good people who just want to make sure everyone at the wedding enjoys themselves, including you. I don't think you did anything wrong by choosing the option that makes the most sense for you both financially and mentally. It doesn't mean you don't love your sister, or that she doesn't love you. It means that you two love each other enough to make sure you're both happy. Not all siblings are lucky enough to have that kind of bond, and I'm really glad you do. Not the asshole. Your mom is the asshole here, sorry to say. I also want to say that it made me happy to hear that your sister and brother-in-law are on your side as well as understanding of your diagnosis. Wishing you the best. Not the asshole, of course, I could be wrong, but I think your mom is probably having a hard time with the diagnosis and is projecting. She may have in her head you being a groomsman equaling you not being on the spectrum. Not sure the best way to get her there, but therapy or a support group would probably help. Not the asshole, is there a chance your mom is also autistic? Because that sounds like a meltdown due to a change from her expectations. I've had similar meltdowns when there has been a small change, and stuff to do with your sister's wedding is probably a big deal to your mom. Not the asshole. Your mother sounds insane. Talk about living vicariously through your children. She's probably just pissed off that she didn't ask to be in someone's wedding 30-some years ago, and now she's trying to make up for it somehow. Am I the asshole for telling Mill she can't meet her adopted grandchild? Throwaway because Sil is on Reddit. I, 31 female, married my husband Jack, 31 male, 9 years ago. Due to some health issues, I had to have a total hysterectomy when I was 20 and obviously won't be having children of my own. Jack and I had started dating a month before my surgery, so he has always been very aware that we won't be having biological children, which he is more than okay with and has expressed so repeatedly. Mill has been a pain in the ass about it since the first time we met. She always had an arsenal of snide remarks about me not being able to give her a real grandchild, and how Jack deserved someone who could give him real children. Jack never stood for it and she wouldn't stop, and as a result we've been basically NC for a decade, other than occasional check-ins maybe once or twice a year. His dad passed before we met and he has one sister. We had the pleasure of fostering an absolutely wonderful 10-year-old girl, Lily, and we were thrilled to adopt her a few months ago. Unfortunately, Mill found out and took this as a cue to start bombarding us with texts and calls, and even a few uncalled for visits to meet her grandchild. Keep in mind we hadn't spoken to her months prior to this. Jack and I both decided when we were in the process of adopting Lily that at least until she was older, we didn't want Mill involved because Lily came from a pretty tough situation and we don't want to risk Mill making any harmful comments about real grandchildren. Jack and I sat down to lunch with Mill and explained that until Lily was at least settled in and we trusted Mill to accept her, that she would not be allowed to meet her. She blew up at us, calling us unforgiving people who are holding a grudge to punish her. Sil sides with her, saying that we shouldn't be denying her a grandkid because we can't let go of the past. So are we ta? Edit. Good morning. I woke up and this got more attention than I thought. I've read and appreciate all your comments, but I unfortunately don't have the time to respond to all of them, so I just want to cover a couple things I saw a few times. 1. To clear up the NC, we're basically NC. We see her for lunch or coffee maybe once or twice a year, as she's proven in the past to be kind of aggressive on the phone and just behaves better in person. No one is demanding contact, but I didn't want Jack to completely lose his mother, so we make an effort to see her. Jack is okay with going completely NC if she gets worse, but she's manageable for us too for the time being. 2. Mill more than likely found out from Sil. We never directly said, "Don't tell Mill," which is our mistake, but we were too busy with Lily and getting her settled in to consider Mill at the time. 3. Sil doesn't want children and doesn't plan on having any. 4. To the person saying inbred hillbillies would be better than my husband and his family now, Jack has stood by me through all of this. He was fully prepared to go completely NC, but as someone who doesn't have either parent in my life, I didn't want him to completely lose his mother, so we agreed on very small amounts of contact. 5. And to the person saying we're gaslighting and manipulating Mill, lol. No. She is more than welcome to have a bigger part in our lives, as soon as we can make it through one goddamn lunch without some kind of attitude from her. Thank you all for your input, advice, and kind words. Not the asshole. Protect the kid. Kids come first always. Not the asshole. Lily is in a delicate place mentally and you guys are still working on building up foundations for her to be comfortable growing up in. Until you and your husband deem her ready to start meeting extended family, you will be keeping her away from others for now. You're not punishing your Mill by keeping Lily away but protecting Lily. Mill is volatile. You don't know what she will say around her, and you examples of her saying things without considering others' feelings. Edit. Thank you for the coin gift award, stranger. Double edit. Thank you for the silver, stranger. Not the asshole. No one is entitled to see your child, especially someone who isn't trustworthy. What has she even done to show she is deserving of forgiveness? Not the asshole. Nope, not at all. Protect your kid from someone who isn't going to treat him like real family. Good for you, and I hope your partner stands behind you on the issue as well. She was an absolute asshole if she's going to mistreat you over fertility issues, then she doesn't need to meet the kid she insulted time and time again. By the way, congrats on the addition to your family. Not the asshole. Although you might want to explain the absence to Lily in a child-appropriate manner, so if she does meet Mill, then it's not so much a shock. Not the asshole I was, that adopted kid who wasn't the real grandchild. It hurts. Bad. I remember it as one of my first memories of my dad's mom. When I brought it up when I was older, I was told that she didn't think I would understand at such a young age. Or my favorite, she never said it directly to me. Well, I did understand. Not the asshole. The fact that she blew up at you for wanting to wait shows that she isn't mature or stable enough to be around Lily right now. Not the asshole. You've given Mill some conditions she needs to meet before she's allowed to become involved with your daughter. You've done this for your daughter's protection and as a precaution based on your Mil's past. You aren't cutting her off forever, you're just being careful. In my eyes, you're doing exactly as you should. Am I the asshole for uninviting my mom to my wedding just because she borrowed my fiancé's necklace? Context. I am 27, am getting married to my fiancé at the end of this month, August. We wanted it to be a simple celebration due to our budget, and because we're moving into a bigger apartment we are saving money. We've already sent out invitations to everyone, including my family. My mom and my fiancé get on well, but not all the time. The problem I have with mom is that she constantly tries to get her hands on things that belong to my fiancé. Especially jewelry. She sees a piece of jewelry my fiancé buys and admires it and wants to try it, then give it right back. Nothing wrong with that, in fact, she compliments my fiancé for her good taste. However, sometimes mom would forget to give the stuff back till my fiancé asks her to give it back before she leaves our place. It bothers my fiancé, understandably so. I sat mom down and told her to respect my fiancé and her possessions, and she said she didn't mean any harm or anything. Days ago, my mom came over to my place while me and my fiancé were at work. My fiancé got home first and figured someone was there. Mom didn't say she visited. Then my fiancé discovered that the necklace her deceased mom left for her was gone from her closet. She called telling me her necklace was gone and couldn't find it anywhere. She also said it looked like someone was at the apartment while we were out because it was clean. I immediately figured mom was there. I just had a hunch, so I went to my parents' place to ask mom, and she said she hadn't left her home that morning. My dad said it wasn't true and that mom said she was going over to my place. Mom then admitted going over to clean around a bit and use our internet for an hour. I asked her about my fiancé's necklace and she said she didn't see it. My dad said actually he saw her try on a necklace in the bedroom after she came home. She told him to stop it, but I blew up and told her if she won't tell me where she took my fiancé's necklace I'd disinvite her from the wedding. I gave her 2 chances after she stalled, and she finally said she borrowed the necklace for her friend's daughter's wedding and planned to give it back. I sternly told her how $ed up that was, and now my fiancé cannot even feel safe in her own home. Mom apologized and gave it back, but said my fiancé shouldn't make fuss over it since she was going to give it back in few days, but I demanded the spare key back and told her she was uninvited from my wedding, and she started crying, calling me horrible for going as far as uninviting her just because she borrowed a piece of jewelry she promised to give back. She got others involved, but Dad said he'll stay out of the drama. My sister yelled at me saying I overreacted, and this was between mom and fiancé. I had to leave after the argument because of the pressure. My fiancé didn't say anything, but my family are all saying I overreacted and should just calm down. They said I either re-invite mom or they won't come to the wedding. I mean, I can see how my decision could impact my relationship with mom. I was even told I'd regret it for the rest of my life. They said I can be angry all I want, but since my mom borrowed it, gave it back and apologize, then we should just forget about it. But I cannot get over the fact she had no regard for my fiancé or her possessions whatsoever. Edit about the necklace. It's a diamond necklace that my fiancé's mom gave her on her birthday. It was the last gift she received from her mom, so the sentimental value of it is huge to my fiancé. Not the asshole. She didn't lie only once. She lied multiple times. She offered up things that weren't hers to make herself look good. She put her own desire for others' possessions above others' safety and security. Others are enabling her to not rock the boat. You're just sticking up for your chosen family. Enablers, all of them. Have a beautiful wedding without them. Maybe with your future wife in her mother's necklace, but that's me being petty. Not the asshole. You need to change the locks on your place. Your mom needs therapy, because none of this is normal. And yeah, your mom needs a timeout from any interactions with you and your fiancé, including the wedding. Kudos on your dad for forcing her to be honest. To be clear how fucked up this is. Your mom went into a closet. She went looking for something. She didn't just randomly come across it. The cleaning was just a cover and to convince herself that she was doing something good. Not the asshole. Your mom is a kleptomaniac and a liar. She needs professional help. Everything you did was appropriate, and I'm sure your fiancé appreciates you standing up for her. Not the asshole. Your mother was caught in a lie, twice. I would have done the same. Have the discussion about your mother coming with the fiancé though. It was her necklace, so she should have the final say if your mother is permitted or not. My sister yelled at me saying I overreacted, and this was between mom and fiancé. Not the asshole. WITAF. No. It is your job to manage your parents. This would put your fiancé in a terrible position. Your mother stole from your fiancé. She then lied about it, so she knows she is 100% wrong, and frankly you should press charges for theft. ETA and change your locks. Not the asshole. Good for you for standing up for your fiancé. Your mom is a thief. Not the asshole. You gave your mom multiple chances and she still didn't listen. She needs to learn that crossing boundaries have consequences. Not the asshole. Man, screw em. Your family sounds toxic. Except your dad. He sounds chill AF. So some unsolicited opinion. If I were you, I'd only be disappointed if my dad didn't show for the wedding. Wish you and your fiancé the best. Would I be the asshole if I didn't list my husband's siblings on his headstone? On a mobile, excuse the formatting. My husband of 21 years died suddenly in March. We had a very good, happy marriage, and 2 children, 12 and 14. It's been hard. He was my world. In the 26 years we were together, my husband was not close to his family. He would call his parents once every couple of weeks and visit every few months. They would call when they wanted something and would never visit, not even for our children's birthdays. He would speak with his siblings once or twice a year and see them maybe every 2 or 3 years. Since the funeral I have reached out to his siblings a few times, mostly asking if they could share stories from their childhood with our children. They have mostly ignored me. They haven't asked how we are doing. They never warmed to me, so I never expected them to ask how I'm doing, but they haven't even asked how the kids are doing. 3 weeks ago my mother-in-law told me that his siblings told her they wanted to be included on the headstone. At first I said I'd oblige. But more and more, I don't want to. I'm hurt and disappointed that they haven't thought to check on the kids. A few days ago I sent them a text saying that I was hurt that in the 4+ months since his death, none of them have asked how the kids are doing. One of his siblings responded to tell me I was being unfair because she gets updates from their mother. We don't speak often, and I can't be honest and open with her. If I start to cry, she finds an excuse to hang up. The others ignored me. My parents paid for half of the funeral. I didn't even ask. They just put the money in my bank account. His mother, who is loaded, refused to contribute. I will be paying for the headstone. Including his siblings will cost extra because I'd have to add extra lines, but it's a negligible amount, about $150. This will also not be the final headstone. When I die and am buried with my husband, it will have to be redone. It's cast metal, not carved. So I could suck it up and call it the cost of maintaining healthy relationships, but we don't have a relationship anyway. I think their lack of response has made it clear they don't want one, and I'm tired of always being ignored, rebuffed. Part of me thinks IWBTA because I initially agreed to include them and because I'll have the final word anyway, when I die and the headstone is redone. But mostly I feel that IWNBTA because I'm paying. We were the only family my husband really cared about. And they clearly don't care about his kids, who are the biggest part of his legacy. But I also know that I'm grieving and not thinking straight. WIBTA? Edited for grammar and to say thank you. I appreciate your compassion, condolences, and wisdom. I have decided not to include them on the headstone. I have also decided to put off ordering the headstone for another month or so to make sure I'm not making a rash decision. I am not going to contact his siblings, but if they contact me I will be polite. I will keep making an effort with his mother, out of respect for him. None of this is easy. I might be a middle-aged woman, but all I want is a hug from my mom, and I can't have that because of the panini. But I'm strong. My husband had good judgment, and he chose me. If he thinks I can do this, I'll do my best to prove him right. Not the asshole. Why do his estranged siblings want a place on his headstone? Weird. Still, they aren't contributing to it now and they weren't contributing to his life before, so no need to feel bad for not including them. Not the asshole. You are grieving and I would think this is part of being taken advantage. I have never seen a headstone that had siblings on it unless it is a plot that has the sibs buried there too and they are minors, like 100+ years ago that had toddler after toddler die and so that just kept adding names and dates to the same stone. I have seen surviving children's names as well, but the sibling thing is odd. Is this a cultural thing? NTA. Maybe this a cultural thing, but usually only the names of the deceased are on the headstone. It might say something like beloved father, brother, etc. I wouldn't include them. 'Cause they aren't being buried there. And they aren't paying for it. Not the asshole. Do you think your husband would want this at all? His wishes and your continued health and well-being are probably the most important things right now, so I'd go with what you think he would have wanted. Not the asshole they weren't there for him when he was alive and they weren't there for you and your kids after losing him. If it helps, do whatever you think he would want. You knew him more than anybody in this world. I'm so sorry for your loss. NTA. They want to mooch off your plot. Stand firm. And, my deepest condolences on the passing of your husband. Not the asshole, you aren't an asshole, you've simply had a change of mind. If they were paying a significant amount for the headstone or the funeral, the situation may be different. If they aren't contributing anything and have the means to do so, they are assholes. Sorry for your loss. Not the asshole. Do not include them. They want to be in the headstone to save face, not because they care. At this point you should stop caring about them too. They weren't close to your husband, they will not be close to you and your children. It's sad, but it's their choice. I hope you will find comfort and peace. Don't waste your time with those people.